After going 8-24 last season, Michigan brings in new head coach Dusty May along with 10 newcomers to this team. I'm going to go through some of the offensive and defensive film of what I think Michigan could try and do this season. Starting on the offensive end, I think one thing that's going to be certain is that big man transfer Vladislav Golden is going to get post touches. He got a lot of them at FAU with good success, and there's just no real reason to think why they won't happen in Michigan as well. So this clip right here, we're going to look at, this is going to be Golden, and we're going to be looking at him being able to get over that left shoulder, use that right hand that he has pretty good touch with. And then being 7'1", he's able to just kind of go up over defenders oftentimes. Now, South Florida's in a zone here. FAU does a good job getting the ball in the middle and then working from there. And now look where Golden's creating his kind of first point of contact at. This is right outside the restricted circle, so like 4 or 5 feet away from the rim. So that way, now as he catches it and he's getting pushed out just a touch, instead of getting pushed out to here, he's catching it on the block. And what he does so well is just catching and being able to go up right away. He knows where he's at. He knows he has the size advantage, so he's just able to go up and have good touch. Now, the big man counterpart, Danny Wolf, also is a transfer to Michigan, and he has a pretty unique skill set of being able to kind of play on the perimeter, but also play in the post. And although I think Wolf and Golden are going to play together a lot, there's going to be times Wolf is on the floor by himself, and even if he's with Golden, he's just going to get post touches at times. 7'1", he moves pretty well. Michigan's going to try to get him the ball down low. This is going to be Wolf right here. Yale's running kind of a floppy action, and so Wolf's going to use this kind of pin down to then immediately turn and seal and get the ball here. Now, obviously, compared to Golden, look, Wolf catches it much further out, but Wolf's fine with that because he can kind of face up if he wants, or kind of take these like 2 back down dribbles, turn, and kind of go from there. He doesn't need to be a guy that has to catch at the block and just go up. And that's what's going to go here. Good spin move, and you can see that little move right there, just where he's able to really dig into the defender, use his ball handling, his movements, creates the space, and now he gets a layup at the rim. One of the biggest things that makes me think that the Golden Wolf combo can work, at least on the offensive end, is Danny Wolf's ability to pass the ball. He is going to be one of, if not the best big man passer in the entire conference, and it's going to be needed if him and Golden are going to share the floor. There could be spacing issues at times, but Wolf's ability to both shoot and pass allow, I think, a lot of those concerns to be negated a bit. And one thing that I think Michigan could go to a lot is a lot of these high-low actions. Wolf is very comfortable being kind of this handoff hub at the top of the key. And so at times, although Golden will definitely be a screener and roll, Golden can kind of be in the dunker spot or something like that. And Wolf can be the one initiating offense with good guards up on the perimeter. And so now here, Wolf has the option if he wanted. He could either drive, he could shoot, he could pass here to go into a handoff, or what I think could happen a lot is looking for this high-low. And so this is going to be Golden right here most times. And so that big-to-big passing, I think, can just put a lot of pressure on the defenses and something that I think will show up. Now, Wolf didn't have the highest assist rate. It was only about 15-16%, but that is still very good for a big and is going to be very needed for if he's going to share the floor. Now, there's also going to be times where he's the 5-man and he's going to be able to really take advantage of slower bigs on the perimeter. But we're going to look at the passing here. So it's going to be Wolf coming up, setting a screen, and now he's going to show off that popping ability. And so now as he catches here, immediately he's going to look for the shot, but what he does so well is just make quick and timely decisions along with good passing. So now he's just going to read the defense. He knows he has 2 on him, and so it's a 2-on-1 down low. So he's just going to read this defender. If he goes there, he's probably going to throw it here. If he stays, he has a wide open shooter. And so the defender kind of gets stuck right here, and Wolf does a good job of kind of just freezing him with that dribble right there. I'll rewind so we can watch it a little in full speed. Freezes him with that dribble, and now, I mean, an live off the dribble left-handed pass across the court, like a lot of guards probably can't make that pass, but Danny Wolf can. And I think having passers is going to be a big key for Michigan. There's a lot of lineups where they have legit 3 to 4 guys at all times that are either capable to even good passers. And so I think the ball can move. I think there can be good spacing that allows cutting, and multiple guys that are going to be able to create off the dribble and not only create for themselves, but create for others. And so this play right here, we're going to look at Roddy Gale, incoming transfer from Ohio State. He's going to kind of get this, it's going to be like a pick and roll that's from a handoff type. These guys going to slip, and so Gale now knows he has 2 on the ball. And again, just reading the defenders, playing kind of a puzzle game at that point. Nobody kind of comes over and helps on the roll, so now Gale knows it's where he's going to have. And so just kind of those quick cuts. I think a lot of stuff like that should be open for Michigan because of how many passers they have. Another thing that'll be pretty common, I think, for Michigan is pushing the ball in transition. FAU has done it for a couple seasons now, and so I want to kind of walk through an example of what it could look like. So here, FAU forces a turnover, which I think they were about 100th in terms of steal percentage last season. So now they're going to get the ball up ahead quickly, and this is where I think Michigan could be fun is, so Golden here, right? If Golden and Wolf are both on the floor, you can have Golden kind of just be this rim runner. Sometimes he'll naturally be trailing because he'll just be the last, but if he's trailing, he can flow into a pick and roll, and you could have Wolf kind of either cut to the rim or to a corner, or you could have it like this where Golden's going to be rim running, and then you're going to have kind of Wolf being the one that's trailing. And so say this is Wolf right here, he can either kind of just stop and pop for 3, or he can do something like this if the pass leads where, hey, he's going to catch it on the move, and now he has a 2-on-1. His passing ability allows him to do stuff like that, and I think it could be a fun transition team. So now one thing that I think this Michigan team might do a bit more than what the FAU teams under Dusty May did is run pick and roll. I think they have multiple guys that are really capable, and they have bigs in terms of Golden, Wolf, and even the backups in Shedder and Walters that like have kind of these capabilities and unique traits that allow them to run pick and roll. Like I said, I think there's going to be a lot of cutting in this offense and a lot of kind of spacing. I think the easiest way to create those initial advantages is going to be pick and roll though. So you can see it here. This is Trey Donaldson, which is incoming transfer from Auburn, probably the starting point guard if I were to guess for Michigan this year. And so as soon as he sees, okay, this is a switch from Missouri, he's now just reading this low man. And this low man takes a step over too far. So Donaldson's immediately going to fire over to 3. Missouri tries to late switch, but this is kind of what I mean. So pick and roll creates now this kind of opening. This can be a shot for Michigan. They're going to have solid shooters. Or if this is a guy like Gale or Burnett or somebody like that, they can also just kind of take them off the dribble. Even if this is Danny Wolf, can kind of take him off the dribble like they do here, and now get an even better look on the interior. Another example here is another guy we already showed though is Roddy Gale, going to be running pick and roll again here. And so in this one right here, Wisconsin's going to be in deep drop coverage, and Ohio State's actually going to be running Spain pick and roll with having Battle trying to set this back screen. But essentially, like, I just think there are multiple guys that once they're given a step, like these wings for Michigan are going to be able to really get downhill and convert, and that's exactly what Roddy Gale is able to do right here. The other reason, though, I think that in addition to having these guards, why Michigan could be a good pick and roll team is their 2 bigs, and we'll go through one from each. Golden's going to be a pure roller. He's just going to roll to the rim, maybe a short roll where he's able to put the ball on the floor once, and we're going to look at that here. So he kind of slips this initial screen, and then it's just kind of getting into the opening. And so he does a good job of, even being at 7'1" tall, like he does a good job of having coordination, movement, and just kind of ability to string things together. So here, I mean, you can see his back's to the basket as he's catching this ball. That's a very tough catch. He still comes down with it, and it immediately is able to go up with it. And just being 7'1", he's such a big target on the roll. And now looking at Danny Wolf, and even Danny Wolf, what he's going to do here applies definitely more to like Will Shedder and Sam Walters off the bench as well, is as he's going to step up here, set this screen, he's just immediately going to pop. And Wolf especially shot super well on pick and pop 3s last season. Shedder shot really well. Walters showed that he can knock him down too. And so now you have 3 bigs realistically that can all space the floor, be legit pick and pop guys. And as I've mentioned throughout this video a couple times with Wolf, is as he catches here, like he's not just a pick and pop guy. He can be another guy that can drive, create for others. He can just pass it to somebody right away, keep the ball moving. There's lots of options, but he also can just pop it like this and knock it down. And now as we move to the defensive side of the ball, I think this is going to be the bigger question mark for Michigan. I trust that their offense is going to be good. I think they have a lot of pieces that can work together very well, but what are they going to do defensively? Now, kind of going back to Golden, I think what he's going to do is pretty known. He's just going to be a drop coverage big that tries to help protect the rim, whether he's on ball or off ball. So here in drop coverage, he's just going to be right here on the screen, and his entire job is to move back and keep the ball handler and the roller in front of him. And so as that's happening, you see him do that there. Now the guard does a decent job of trying to get downhill, but Golden's able to stay get up and get for the block, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to try to stay around the rim and just help protect it. And probably the absolute biggest question surrounding this team is, what is Danny Wolf going to be doing defensively, specifically when he is on the floor with Golden? Now, when Wolf is at the 5, he can be a drop coverage big, he can be a hedge big if needed. He isn't the best rim protector, but can be passable when just kind of given the chance. But if he's playing alongside Golden, he's going to have to be out on the perimeter at times. And so this is just one example. Like, I don't think Wolf is a guy he gets torched every time. And he is going to get beat here, but like, he can hold his own enough, I think, on the perimeter to make it work against some 4s. There's going to be some quicker 4s that it's going to be a lot of kind of issues at times though. Right here though, Princeton's just going to pass to the perimeter. And I mean, Wolf's in the right spot, but you can just see, just a half step slow, allowing that drive and allowing it all the way to the rim. A common theme for the past few seasons for Dusty May and FAU is just they don't allow assists. They have been like top 5 in the past 2 seasons in terms of basically not allowing assists for other teams. And I think one big thing that's why is just because of their switching. On ball and off ball, they switch every guard action, and it just kind of helps prevent offenses from getting in a good flow. So as we look here, this is not going to be a switch because it's involving the 5-man. But then if you look from here, like right here, this little handoff, that's an immediate switch. So up here, that's not, but now this is going to be kind of guard to guard stuff again. Okay, no switch, so now the ball's staying in front. That's another switch right there. Notice how the ball is not penetrated at all. And so, I mean, even on all this action, you see him, hey, he's point switching for 15 to take this guy, and then they're just going to switch off this. So now these pin downs don't really work. And now look at the shot clock, 7 seconds left, and FAU wants to force teams into these long possessions, force them to take kind of tough ISO shots, and that's what their defense was really built around. And I don't see why that wouldn't happen again at Michigan. We're going to take another look at switching here in this example, and this is going to be against Spain pick and roll. And so what Spain pick and roll is a high pick and roll, but there's a back screen set on the screener. And so oftentimes this can kind of put the defense into a bit of a bind because the big could be caught up, guards can miscommunicate, but on this play right here, FAU does a good job. So initial screen, Golden's going to be in this drop coverage like normal. This is not a switch, but anything with guards is. And so now as this back screen happens, you're just going to see John L. Davis jump up and take the ball handler, knowing that number 12 has to then come over and help take kind of the back screener right here. And so as that happens, look, switch happens, everybody's still in position, there's no mismatches, and everybody's just going to a good spot. And now North Texas has to kind of scramble from there, put up a tough shot. Now on this play, I want to look at kind of what types of shots FAU's defense has given up under Dusty May. And so, like I said, I think that a lot of this stuff translates from what Dusty May has done previously to Michigan as well. And this is going to be an example. And what they do is they force a lot of mid-range shots. Now, when you look at defenses that force a ton of mid-range shots, generally it's because of like a big man that plays drop coverage, lots of pick and rolls, and they just give up this mid-range. And although there is some of that, I think FAU just closes out also on the perimeter really, really hard. Because you're going to look at the low man here. He's providing this like the help that's needed. It's not like he's staying completely at home like some teams do. He's given the help. He's there on the drive. But now look at this closeout. I mean, he is fully committing to, I'm going to force this man to put the ball on the ground. And that's what he does. Now, it's a good thing to force these mid-range shots in general, right? Because in general, they are the most inefficient shots. But so FAU is one of the worst teams in terms of defending the mid-range area, and I think a lot of it was because it isn't coming against those drop coverages as much, but instead it's kind of these one dribble beating closeout pull-ups like they did right here. If you enjoy, please like and subscribe and click here for more Michigan preview content.